Welcome to Senior's Last Word. I'm Aldrin Suga, Senior, talking semi-finals because England are into the semi-finals. Spain already are there, France are there, and of course Netherlands. But today we are talking about England because everyone, with all the huge fan base they have around the world, they were wondering, will we see an England team playing as we know they can? And they did last night because suddenly everyone was free. The entire team last night came to play football. England, Switzerland, it was still tight. It was still really difficult. And the Swiss never gave them chance to breathe. We thought they were very good, very solid at the back. They were defending in numbers. They focused on pressing, but England did well to force them far back so that they never allowed them to really spend a lot of time coming outside their shell. What did England do better this time? One of the things that happened is suddenly all their stars, the key players, suddenly they came good. Bellingham Jude, who I think for me thus far, he's a contender for player of the tournament because every game he plays with spirit, he plays with the heart. We already know he has the quality. He takes on players. He's covering every blade of grass. He's in the left, on the right, in the center, at the back, looking for that ball, getting it, probing his teammates. His skill set, everything, he's elegant. Everything about Jude Bellingham is right. And yet again, he came through trying to lead and urge others on. He was again excellent on the night, but what was the difference this time? It was Bukayo Saka. Remember, since the tournament started, Bukayo had been irrelevant, almost almost invisible. Whether it was tactics from the opposing teams that took care of him, I don't know. But this Bukayo Saka against Switzerland, that's the Bukayo Saka of Arsenal. The man who can take on players, get behind them, go on that right side, open up the game, open his angles, trying those colors, and what a beauty of a goal he scored. Typical Saka. And for me, he was the man of the match. Forget the goal before it came. This guy, from the first half to the second half, this time he took it as his business, personal business, to make England succeed. He was beating players. He was fighting for the ball. He had too much attention around him, but we know he's strong on his feet. We know he's good when he gets spaces, but also good when in little spaces. And last night, he really excelled each time he had that ball. He saw a lot of the ball, which hasn't been the case in the tournament, but against Switzerland, they used him a lot, and he was a key player for them. Even Phil Foden, yes, alongside Bellingham, they were the two playing behind Kane. But this time, even the role of Foden spreading those balls in, dribbling in small spaces, faking angles, ghosting past players. I mean, he was good. I liked the way the interplay between these players. It was good. So Phil Foden suddenly comes good. Saka, very good. Bellingham, of course, well, again, Kane for me wasn't really vintage Harry Kane, but you know that Kane is usually very good when he joins in the play, in the build-up play, because he's good at passing, he has good vision, and then his runs. We saw that happening yesterday. So again, Kane added to the numbers, and once that happens, remember I told you previously that one of the problems for England is they were not releasing Declan Rice. They're not giving him opportunity to actually add to attack play. Last night against Switzerland, Declan Rice was finding those spaces inside the box, the runs in between. He was running those channels, and that's the Declan Rice that we know when he plays for Arsenal, and that's the Declan Rice we saw last night. Yes, not the best game that England has ever played, but they did what was required to get past Switzerland. In the end, yes, of course, they had to fight back because Switzerland are the first ones that saw the goalposts and found a way in. So it was a test of character to see whether England could come behind, and yet again, what we saw as another example was they proved that they have character. That's England. Remember, the other game was running out of their grasp in the round of 16. They were losing it until they found 1-2 goals in the end. That was character. They were losing it against Switzerland. They fought back. They found it. character. Even when they play badly, England can still find the result. Last night, it was a big test. Why? Because Switzerland are a very, very tough team. They did still find an answer to them. So England are coming good. They did win justifiably because over the duration of the match, especially when it got clear that it's now penalties, England usually are not so good when it comes to penalties. Think about it. They're not so good usually when it comes to penalties. Remember, they lost to Italy. Why? Penalty shootout. Poor. Wow. Against Switzerland. Every one of them. Brilliant penalties. When you look at the 5 guys, by the way, who took those penalties, you think England did their homework very, very well. Because by that time, Trent Alexander had come on the pitch. We know what he can do with those balls. And in the end, from Saha, Bellingham, and each one of them who took the penalties, excellent penalties. And again, the way they took those penalties, if you read their body language, they were strong mentally. It was character. So I'm seeing an English team that has proven that this particular team has character. Amidst the criticism, when things are going wrong, when games are going out of the grips, they found something extra to recover and to rescue games. I like that they played better. Still not very good performance from them, but they played better at the right moment. And for the second time in 2 tournaments, they are now into the semi-finals. Remember, it's only twice now that England has managed to go beyond the quarters in the history of Euros. And at least successively, they've now made it. It's going to be England joining Spain and France in the semi-finals. And that's my last word.